Expectations for Del Russo here, playing nose guard on this play, and I really want to see what he's doing as he gets Del Russo. As I was saying his name, he gets an amazing tackle for loss, fumble, and the Staples Wreckers have the ball as this electric JV offense is going to take the field at the 20-yard line going out.
Yep, Del Russo got in the backfield. The running back did not get a clean handoff there, and ball hits the ground. Staples will get the ball on their own 20 to start off here.
And I may add that number 54, Cody Goldman, had the fumble recovery as he came down from middle linebacker.
And Dennett, the Staples JV quarterback, Caleb's backup in the shotgun. He gets a block from Armentano, heaves it downfield to Nathan Smith, and that ball hits the ground. Smith just a little underneath that, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
When I'm looking at this offensive line, you're looking at a lot of newly experienced guys. Like the right tackle for the Staples Wreckers today is Justin Johnny, a new Staples Wrecker for this year. He's helped a lot over the offseason. Really good worker. Actually lost 50 pounds over the offseason. And I'm really excited to see what he's doing.
Dennett steps back, evades pressure. Downfield, Nathan Smith, and he overthrows him again, and that's the second time in as many plays. 3rd and 10 Wreckers.
If I was Nathan there, I would. Too long to start really going into his final gear, and I think that's why nothing really worked out there.
And Caleb, what'd you see there from your younger brother. You think that's on him or Dennett overthrowing him?
I think that was a really tough position for Nathan. Dennett was in the pocket, about to get sacked. Scramble rules have him going short, but he eventually went deep. Oh,
and Dennett fumbles the ball. He's going to jump back on it, and that'll bring 4th and 13. Staples looking like they're going to punt.
Yeah, and it is a little bit slick out today with rain happening about an hour or two ago. We are using a little bit worse footballs in order to prevent the better footballs from getting rained on, but that will be seen throughout this game. 2 fumbles already happening.
Yeah, and as you look out into the field and look into the sky, there's a slight rain coming down on the field, dampening the field and the football as well, and that one looked like it just slipped out of Dennett's hand as he went to throw it, and Staples will line up to punt.
You know, I'm really loving how the weather's setting up. It just has that football vibe. Really foggy morning, slight rain.
And the snap to Marcus bounces. Punt, high. And that one's going to hit the ground. A little bit of backspin. Picked up by Trumbull after the bounce. Strongly ill-advised play, but it works out, and Trumbull's going to get the ball on the 43 of Staples.
I really like what this punt team's doing. I just really have to say how well Josh Marcus is as a punter. He punts for the varsity team, and I'm very happy that we have him on our team to get us out of tough situations and get this Wreckers defense in a better field position.
Yeah, Marcus, one of the few guys that actually starts on the varsity team as the punter, hence why he's playing on JV, and he lines up at middle linebacker here for the snap. And on the first play, the second series, Trumbull drops back, and Murillo gets in there and knocks that one down into the flat.
You know, looking at Josh Marcus, he's an all-around athlete. He's going to more than likely play Division I lacrosse. He's an extremely talented goalie. He's an extremely talented kicker.
Yeah, and he's actually the Staples starting goalie as well, so very talented. Lacrosse is definitely his main sport.
He's one of those athletes that can pick up anything really fast.
As run to the right, Cody Goldman sets up to get to it, and he misses. Gets the edge, and coming at the end, Jordan Hall stops the touchdown.
You know, I'm not really liking what I see from this Staples defense so far. Just so many splash plays so far. You really got to contain those. That's one of the strong suits of our Staples Wreckers varsity team. And we got to really hope to limit the next few splash plays.
Yeah, and something that was unsung heroes last year on JV was that Mikey Nealon, a all-around great player for the varsity team this year, played JV defense last year. He was the strong suit of their defense last year, and he was able to prevent us from being scored on and giving us the ball back on offense to let us score.
And lines up in the shotgun, a heavy right set, runs the ball to the left, and grabbed by Goldman, gang tackling by the entire team, about 2 yards in the carry.
We can really commemorate for the coaches that there were 10 Wrecker hats on that play with Iannone coming in at the end of the play. That really shows culture in that our Wrecker culture is built around being selfless and just being there as a team and not individually.
Truly the Wrecker way.
And that Wrecker culture is something that is talked about all the time by this team. And noticing it come up a lot last night in Staples' win against Trumbull. That was a back-and-forth game. All game came down to a touchdown thrown by you, Caleb, at the very end of the game with less than 2 minutes left as a pass down the left sideline off the fingertips of Trumbull, and that'll bring up 3rd and 8.
You know, Caleb, when you were throwing that pass to Tyler Clark, how are you feeling in a 3rd and 14, really tough position? I want to know how you felt in the moment.
So for me, so the first play of that drive, I threw a quick out to Tyler Clark, and he dropped it, which he immediately flushed and was able to pass by it. And the second play, I got sacked. So the third play, I was really just trying to heave the ball downfield to Hillhouse as 19 steps back, throws. Great defensive play by Cody Goldman, number 54. As I was saying, Hillhouse was put at Z there, our outside receiver, as he was supposed to run a post down the middle of the field. That was my first read. But as I felt pressure, I tried to escape the pocket, saw Tyler Clark open the flat, and let him do his thing.
Yeah, Clark known for that shiftiness and ability to get down the field. As Trumbull brings in a new lineup, looking like they're going to take the field goal at the JV level, a 35-yard field goal. A little bit of a crazy idea here, but we'll see if Trumbull can make it from 35.
This is a little unorthodox, and especially for JV. I don't really see anyone attempt field goals, and especially in the JV level.
And the snap, good snap, hold, and the kick is
good.
Short. Just put that one a little too high, and it came down fast. And Staples will get the ball on the 25 to try and work again their second drive. If we go back to that last drive, Dennett fumbled Dennett fumbled. Staples held on to the ball, forcing a punt.
We really got to see this Staples offensive line step up right here. From the last couple of plays, there was immediate pressure, and I'm really hoping that this Staples Records team can really step up on the pass protection.
As Dennett lines up in the shotgun. KJ, the center. Snap. Throw out to the flat. Iannone cuts up the middle. And he's going to get about 7 yards before getting his forward progress stopped. 2nd and 3.
Yeah, and something that you see right now with Trumbull is they're in a 4-3 box. They got 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers behind them. That's something you don't see very often, but with this rain setting in, more of a run-heavy game plan, you could see that being a little bit successful.
Yep, the 4-3 box, something that kind of went out of style in the last couple of years as teams shifted more towards pass-heavy offenses. With the rain game, we might see some more old-school football as Armentano gets the carry, and he drives forward, and he's going to get the first down there, the first down for the Records today.
Anthony Armentano, brother of Nick Armentano, who suffered a torn ACL sadly at IMG Academy a couple weeks ago. Really had high expectations for him. Really thought he was going to make it big in FBS football. Really hope that he can have the same success as his brother.
And drop back. Dennett hands it off, and he loses the snap, or the handoff, hits the ground. Little playing patty cake with that ball until it finally gets back into Dennett's hands, and Staples 2nd and long.
This feels really sloppy right now. Looking at last year's JV offense, it was a lot more clean and thought out compared to what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, that last year JV offense, a team both Caleb and I started on as pass out to the flat, batted down by Trumbull, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 21, an extremely long first down to gain for the Staples offense.
Something to think about is that these guys have not played a game for 2 weeks. Last week, Newington, they do not have a JV team. And the week before, St. Joe's, with all their kids quitting, they did not have a JV team as well. So they were trying to get the rust off on these first 2 drives.
As pass to Shane goes through his hands, picked off by Trumbull, and that one's going to go back to the end zone for 6. Trumbull picks 6, and Trumbull takes the first score of the game. What'd you see there, Caleb?
I think that Coach Maddox was just trying to dial something up where he could get Shane Sandry the ball in his hands, and with the ball being wet, he's wearing gloves, which I would not advise. Ball went right through his hands, right to the defender, number 21. Took it to the house.
Do you think Dennett pass was a little off there, or was that Shane's fault?
I mean, that was a little bit high, but nothing that Shane couldn't manage. He didn't even have to jump, but just something that went through his hands.
Yep.
Really sad play for the Staples Records now as Trumbull is lining up to kick a field goal.
And setting up for the kick, snap, hold, and that kick is blocked. So Staples keeps this game to less than 1 score here at 6-0.
I could see Coach Horn on the sideline, our special teams coach, get a little riled up after that. You could tell he's excited. Special teams is his thing. Watches it 24/7, 365, and I could already tell he's hyped up about that block.
Yeah, no, a lot of us don't get. I don't actually get how Coach Horton can watch so much special teams with how incredibly boring that must be to watch. But he does it, man. I don't know. I love football, and I can watch football all day, but to just watch kicking plays, I don't know if I could do it. So I commend Horton for that ability, as Staples is going to attempt to return this. And Coach Behrens looks to organize this kick return team a little bit. Caleb, you know a little something about Coach Behrens. What do you have to say about your head football coach as well as your quarterback coach.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Coach Behrens is the head football coach as well as the quarterback's coach, so I spent a lot of time with him. He originally came from IMG as their quarterback's coach, which was a really cool experience for me to have that sort of like professional aspect to just being in high school. He has coached with many professional and collegiate quarterbacks, so having him with me is a great experience for me. He is truly a great guy. He spends a lot of time at what he loves, and that's coaching football. He was one of the most – he was so excited last night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, after the game, he gave us a little speech. He just was almost at a loss for words because of how proud he was for us.
When I was watching Coach Behrens coach some of his higher level quarterbacks, I saw Brown's backup quarterback Kyle Aletta show up while we were practicing lacrosse, and I'm not a big lacrosse guy, and that was actually my favorite moment of the lacrosse season. As while I was messing around with my good friend Dylan Hellman, I was just watching Kyle Aletta throw some dimes to former Staples quarterback Jake Thal, who's currently at Michigan, getting some playing time there as a junior.
Yep, as the kickoff doesn't really do much for Staples as they'll start off at their own 17, trying to get a little offensive progress, maybe get into Trumbull's half of the field. As throw to Sandrew, that same play that they just ran for the pick six, go right back to it, and that one goes through Sandrew's hands, hits the ground, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and something about calling plays is that last year that Ryan Thompson in the Danbury game, we have a play called slob where it's 2 slants and a bubble. And Ryan Thompson threw an interception on that play. And the next drive, right after, Coach Behrens called slob again just to give him the chance to realize that he is able to do that.
Yep, as once again, Staples trying to hit Sandrew on that 5-yard out, and once again that ball goes through his hands. With this play calling here, Caleb, how would you change it up?
I think that Anthony Armentano, I believe he's the most athletic person on this field right now. I would give him the ball. Not right now, it's 3rd and 10. You have to pass the ball, but on 1st and 2nd down, you got to give him the ball.
As getting right through the line, Trumbull middle linebacker, Sandrew gets the ball in the flat. He works up, and he gets tackled just in front of the line to gain. That's going to be a record 1st down.
Caleb, when you were talking about the Danbury game and the slob play call, I'm kind of wondering now, how did that turn out after the second time Ryan Thompson was able to run slob?
It was a completion to a bubble there, I believe. That it just shows character in that Ryan Thompson, a great quarterback, is now going at Richmond playing lacrosse.
Pass really deep to Nathan Smith, and that one goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and something that really is going to change this JV offense is Dennett's throwing. He had that overthrow to Shane. It was a little bit overthrown. He had 2 overthrows to Nate, and now a 3rd. He needs to step it up.
Yep. And you work with Dennett all the time. What are your thoughts on him? Do you think that is this something maybe mentally a little bit off, or is he just having a physically tough day right now?
I think it's really hard with the rain to throw a football well, but also it's just, like I said, it's their 2nd game in 4 weeks. As Armentano breaks free. And he's hit. He makes a juke down the sideline. Armentano.
And loses the ball. It goes out of bounds at the 40. And Staples finally getting into the Trumbull offensive half of the field.
You know, Anthony Armentano, he might not have the same ability as his brother did for high school football, but he really reminds me of Tyler Clark in open field. Really shifty player. Shows off that speed on that last play there. I'm really excited to see what he can do for the rest of the game, as he could be a true X factor for this Staples offense.
And Behrens walks out to the middle of the field, going to give Dennett a towel to dry off that football.
Yeah, and something that I said 2 plays prior was just get Armentano the ball. That's what he's going to be able to do. He's going to be able to make plays. That's your playmaker right there. Him and Sandrew are going to be great pieces for this JV offense.
And I envision they go right back to Armentano here. No bubble out to Iannone. Iannone gets the ball in space, heads up to the middle of the field, and he's tackled down at the 25. Staples making great progress.
Great blocking by number 15, Shane Sandrew, as well as number 13, Nathan Smith, to open up that lane for Iannone there.
I really got to commend Coach Matty for teaching these wide receivers how to block. If I was I would give every single one of them like an honorary lineman badge or something, for how well they blocked. That was one of the key reasons why we won against Trumbull.
And Armentano dances around the backfield before getting back to the line of scrimmage, and that one's going to bring up 2nd and 10.
And that really is his one issue, is he just tries to do a little too much on some plays. That's something that you can't really do as a running back. At certain points, you have to realize that you have to take 2 yards, just get your nose in there, and just get your 2 yards.
Yeah. And something else that I'm noticing is that's a little bit of a theme with the Staples running backs. Fiala been doing that, getting better with it, but getting up and through the middle, just hitting their holes is hard because I know they always want to make plays as Armentano goes up the middle and gains a couple. And we saw a little scuffle between Shane Sandrew and Trumbull's number 1. Staples looking for a flag, and they're not going to get one.
That shows a lot of character about Trumbull. They don't really have the best subset of players on their team. A lot of them are really rude. I was trying to be nice to them while we were shaking hands after the game. They were all telling me to F off. And I was telling them, see y'all in States, bro. You're a really good team. They walk away shaking their head. I don't know what to say about that. I'm like trying to be nice.
I actually have to disagree. And the guys that I went against last night when I played right tackle and when I was in at center were both very respectful to me. As we're going to see a first down there from Staples down to the 10.
Good old Noah Smith giving us donuts. What a good day to coach a nice JV football game with some nice donuts.
And Armentano gets a bunch.
Now they're down inside the 5 here.
Wait, if you guys are going to eat donuts, you got to chew them. As Armentano takes it down inside of the 5, 2nd and 3, heading towards the end zone. Dennett in the shotgun. The snap. Back to Armentano. He dances around the left, makes a move, and slips trying to cut back.
This rain's really an X factor in this game. A lot of drop passes resulting in a Trumbull pick 6, people sliding. Even though it's not that much rain, you could definitely see that it's playing a role in this game.
Yep, for sure, as Staples looking for a 3rd down play. Really need to get the score here. And Armentano gets it up the middle. No, Dennett holds on to it, and he dives into the end zone. Staples, touchdown. And now we are tied up at 6-6 with 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Dennett fooled everyone. He fooled me, and that results in a Staples 6.
And that is what I call classic JV football. Coach Matty calling a read option. Brady Dennett making a great read, diving into the end zone.
And now the kick to give Staples the 1-point lead. Murillo steps back. Murillo currently in a varsity kicking competition with Jack McCall, who is a senior. Very close competition, and Murillo looking to take that spot. PAT is perfectly down the middle and high. Staples takes the lead 7-6 with 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter.
Something I might add about Max Murillo is that yesterday in warm-ups, he was kicking 50-yarders like it was nothing. I watched him make 4 50-yard kicks in a row. That's something you don't see much in high school. Seeing that a great kicker from New Canaan, Ty Groff, just set their school record at a 48-yard field goal. Seeing a 50-yard being made, that's something crazy.
Yeah, and I know it's a little different when you're doing it in warm-ups with a whole run-up and no one running at you, but just to be able to have the leg to put the ball in from the 40-yard line all the way back there is crazy. And Murillo, who was actually the kicker on varsity last year, currently does not have that job, but looking to take it back, is one of the more interesting position battles on the team.
Something interesting that I'd like to bring up. I just remembered a funny story about Ty Groff. He actually he was gonna play starting quarterback for the New Canaan team this year. He's a very talented athlete, really good kicker, but could have been a really good X factor for that New Canaan team. Hurt his throwing arm sadly in a bicycling accident, and now just the straight up kicker, hitting 50-yard bombs every week.
Yeah, and he did get All-State nominations and was on the All-State team for kicking last year for Connecticut.
Yeah, he is something special, and maybe we'll see Murillo do something like that in the future. Always a possibility. As Marcus lines up to do the kickoff.
A
little short, goes down to the 10-yard line. The return doesn't look like it's going to get much. And tackled down at the 18-yard line.
You know, we're speaking a lot about Murillo, but Josh Marcus is also a very talented kicker and is someone that I would have to commend for his kicking abilities. Really good kickoff guy, really good punter. Just really happy to see him out there.
And Trumbull looking to go down the field here. They've had a couple successful offensive plays, but not much on the offensive side. Their only touchdown coming from the defensive pick six they got at the very beginning of this game.
The one thing this defense needs to control is the run game. They need to really step it up there.
And the snap. Ball's run to the side, and DeLuca gets in, and Staples' gang tackle is going to give a no gain for the Trumbull offense.
And what did I say? Staples' defense making a big stop in the run, causing a 2nd and 10. Really big passing down here for Trumbull. Let's hope the Staples DBs can hold off here.
It was a really good job by the linebackers, Cody Goldman and Jared DeLuca, stepping in their gaps. Reminded me of Prism Mike and Rossman right there.
Yep, those are our two starting varsity linebackers as DeLuca gets in and gets pressure on the quarterback before he has to throw it away. And that ball is caught on the sideline by Sam Petrosino, a player not playing in the game, a varsity player who got the game-sealing pick six last night. The starting free safety coming off a broken arm for Staples stepped up big last night for sure.
You know, Sam was telling me while he was driving me over here, when he hurt his knee, he thought he tore his ACL. It was very bad for him. He was about to go in with 3 minutes left, but it was too little, too late for him to go in on that drive as Trumbull got the 2-point conversion. With about 1 minute left, final drive of the game, Sam Petrosino was like, F it, I got to get in there. It's 1 minute. I will be fine. Gets the game-sealing interception, and I'm really happy that he was out there because I don't know if we would come out with that win without him.
Yep. And now on 4th down after a series of incompletions by the Trumbull offense, looking like they're going to be forced to punt this one away.
And see, like I talked about before, the Staples stopping that run on 1st down caused them to make 2 passes that they could not complete, causing them to punt here.
And Trumbull forgetting a couple players as they have to run in late. Not very organized, as this also is the JV level. The snap. Punt. A very nice turnover ball. Caught by Nathan Smith. He heads up the middle. Gets space. Gets down to the 30-yard line, and he's going to bring that one almost back to the line of scrimmage. Staples with amazing field position to start this one off.
Yeah, and something that you see on the Staples sideline is, one, a lot of JV players as well as varsity players just standing on the sideline cheering on their teammates that were cheering them on last night. You do not see that on the Trumbull sideline.
Really love the character that we're seeing out of here. Love these younger guys. Feels like a family to me out here. Just love seeing these guys play.
Dennett in the shotgun, the snap to Armentano. He's going to force it up the middle before bringing it to some of those Trumbull defenders and getting 8 yards on the play.
Something you see at the far side of the field, Shane Sandrew still battling with number 1, blocking him every play, almost 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They are going to be battling this entire game. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a flag between them two.
Yeah, as we already see it getting chippy, and we're still in the first quarter. Armentano goes up the middle, curving with a nice block, and Armentano's going to get very close to the first down. Looks like he got it. First down, Staples.
Yeah, and something that I think the Staples offense is going to look for is number 85, Will Borowski, one of the fastest guys on this team. He's their single-side receiver, usually getting one-on-one coverage. I think that's going to be an option for them going into this second quarter, as the first quarter, under a minute left.
And Dennett lines up the shotgun again. Staples pretty much only runs the shotgun as he hands it off to Armentano. Spin move, loses the ball, fumble, and do not see who got that one. It is Trumbull and Armentano with an unfortunate fumble. Like we said earlier, trying to do a little too much on that play. Spin move and loses the ball, and he throws his helmet in frustration.
I don't know what's happening here. It just feels so strange. So many drops, so many fumbles. I can't tell if it's just poor catching by us, ball carrying by the Staples and Trumbull running backs, or if it's the rain. It doesn't feel like it played that big of a factor.
I would say that it seems most likely by the rain, considering both teams are having struggles holding on to that football. And the snap, pass out to the flat. Trumbull heads up the field and stonewalled at the line of scrimmage, about 1 yard on the play.
Yeah, and something that you saw out of Armentano at the end of the play, he took his helmet off and banged it against his helmet. Now his whole face is bloody. That's not good because he would not be able to go in the game with that bloody face.
Yeah, so Armentano with a little stupid decision to hit his own head with his own helmet, a little bit unnecessary and frustration, might take him out of the game. We're not totally sure, as our athletic trainer Tyler tends to him. Passed out to the flat, and that ball goes through the hands of Trumbull's number 45, 3rd and 8.
So you see the effect of the rain setting in right now with both teams, seeing that drop by 45.
I mean, when I was seeing this weather, I was excited. I was hoping for some hard-nosed football with the weather playing a big effect on the game. I didn't think it would be this big of an effect. I thought it was going to be a very mild effect that would kind of slightly affect the game, but I didn't expect it this much, and I'm kind of upset about it.
And now Trumbull's going to have to throw it here on 3rd and 8. Lines up the shotgun, number 19, Trumbull's quarterback. And they hand it off on 3rd down. Interesting decision, but they do get 5 on the play, making the 4th down decision a little harder to make, as that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Staples leads 7-6. And as we're going to hold it throughout the quarter, I want to hear your thoughts on what Staples has to do to take more control of this game. Tanner, what do you think?
I think that you got to get Shane Chandru involved. I think that if you give him some screens, maybe you give him a tunnel screen. He's a real shifty player, a player that could get varsity reps anywhere on a decent varsity football team. I could definitely see him being a very good wide receiver for the rest of the game. Another X factor could possibly be Anthony Armentano, obviously, but
as Nathan Smith fields the punt, we have a wrong scoreboard, a little bit off, and Smith is going to take that one down the field to the Trumbull 46-yard line, and Staples is going to get the ball back with great field position, looking to go down and score again.
And you see Coach Maddie calling that read option again, as Armentano still sidelined. Jared DeLuca in at running back, number 38.
You know, I feel really bad for Anthony. I probably wouldn't do what he did, but I would definitely feel bad for how his frustration is taking him out of the game.
And run up the middle to DeLuca. He's going to get about 3 yards before getting stopped, and that'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Jared DeLuca might be one of the quietest kids I've ever met, but he is a good football player. He is a hard-nosed runner. He isn't that big, but he really makes it happen, especially on scout team during the week. He is a great asset for the Wreckers as he continues in his career.
And just as you say that, he gets the ball up the middle, drives those legs, and he's going to pick up another 3 yards, 3rd and 3 for Staples. And something I noticed with DeLuca is, like a lot of players in this team, so extremely talented, kind of hurt by how good how much depth and how good the Staples team is, and that they kind of just have to wait their turn for the seniors and juniors to graduate before it's time for their turn. But like it has right now for the seniors, DeLuca gets a 3rd play in a row, drives with those legs, and he's going to pick up the 1st down to the Trumbull 35-yard line.
And I really don't see Coach Maddie changing up his game plan. That play has gotten him 3-4 yards every single time, and it looks like he's calling the same play again. Trips right, read option left. There's nothing he needs to change until Trumbull changes their defense.
I would definitely agree with that, as Trumbull only keeping 6 in the box right now. And up the middle, DeLuca. He breaks 3, and he's going to get another 10 yards on that run. Staples gashing them in the run right now. And with this inexperienced O-line, how do you think that's coming into play right now in this game?
You know, I'm seeing James Horton, our long snapper, in at left tackle, and I'm really happy for him. He is an extremely talented long snapper. He gets the snap to kick off in about 1.3 seconds, and I'm really happy that I get to watch him play.
Yeah, as Dennett drops back, hands it to Luca again. And he keeps fighting for those yards, like I mentioned before. He is a hard-nosed runner.
And he gets 5 yards on that play. And right now, Staples continuing with that run game, especially in the rain. Let's see if Coach Matty, who is the offensive coordinator for Staples, does not call plays for the varsity team, but gets his opportunity in the JV game to call it. Let's see if he decides to change anything up here.
Looks like they're going with a different formation here, going doubles. If I were Brady, I'd throw to Shane here, as he does.
Immediately.
Shane, making things happen, getting the first down for the Wreckers.
That was a really good play call right there. Wide open inside. Open release. You always have to take that, which is what Brady did. Very good read by him.
Yep. Definitely. Brady starting to find those easier passes, not looking for those deep balls that he was overthrowing a little bit at the beginning. And as I look over to the sideline, Armentano still having his head being checked out by Tyler. One of possibly the stupidest injuries that I've ever seen, as Dennett out to the flat for Sandrew does not pick up much on the play.
Something you see now is that number 44, Josh Marcus, is in at running back, so a position we have not seen him play all year. Hasn't really played that in practice much at all, but he's stepping up as DeLuca, probably tired after running the ball 5 times in a row, and Armentano, sidelined, is stepping up for the Wreckers.
You know, he's a pretty big guy. Maybe a possible Tristan Keefe JV type player.
As Dennett throws to the end zone, Nathan Smith catches it after a bobble. Touchdown, Caleb's brother, in for the score.
And you see Coach Matty running around the field because he dialed up that play. He called a hitch 3 times in a row and then calls a hitch and go for Nathan. And what a play call by Coach Matty.
And now Staples is going to actually go for 2 to try and make this a 2-score game here. I like the aggressive play calling from Coach Matty. Hard decision to make. Always a confusing spot to be in when you're up 7 after scoring a touchdown, whether to try and take that automatic 2-possession game or force the other team to go for 2.
You see DeLuca back at running back here.
Dennett to the snap. Gives it to DeLuca. He fights up the middle. It's a close call, and the refs give it to him. Touchdown, Staples, 15-6 with 7:30 left to play in the second quarter.
You guys know how electric Coach Matty is. Really electric guy, really aggressive play caller in this JV game. You know, he's reminding me a lot of Dan Campbell right now. Would you guys agree with me? I'm just thinking that in my head.
Dan Campbell, the Lions head coach. I actually see it. You know, I see it. Dan Campbell possibly a little bigger, but
was Dan Campbell the one that said that he wanted to eat people's kneecaps off?
yes.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see that out of him. Coach Matty, a guy who, quote-unquote, flies off of his coffee, as he participated in our practice multiple times this week as he suits up and tries to just make our guys better.
And on top of being one of the smartest coaches for the Staples team, he also brings that intensity and energy that a lot of coaches don't bring besides him. He's always from 6 a.m. to really any time, no matter how tired he actually is, bringing an insane amount of energy, and it shows when he uplifts the team like that.
It seems like number 25, Anthony Armentano, is taking off his pads, getting ready to not go back in the game. Looks like that stupid decision of his is going to sideline him for the rest of the game.
You know, he shouldn't be that sad. He still has so many years of high school football left. Very talented cat.
I would agree with that, but I think it's still hard to be out of any game at any point as Marcus' kick goes out of bounds, so that one's going to be placed on the 35-yard line.
And that one
after
was
the penalty.
That one was only 2 yards, like maybe 2 yards out of bounds. That was a great kick by Marcus, just a little bit off.
Yeah, I know those little Madden kicks. So when you're playing and you try and leave it in the corner to go pick it up, hard to pull off. But if you do, there's a good chance to be able to get back on that ball.
Yeah, we all know Aiden Pard's big Madden player, as he is the ultimate sweat, runs all the cheese offenses, cheese defenses, and everyone hates to play against him.
Better than you at the game.
Yeah,
as Trumbull.
Well, that's not that hard when you're playing against Caleb.
Trumbull lines up in the shotgun. Handoff. A little slow in the backfield. And stepping up to make the play, that's Jimmy Pretty, a guy we haven't talked about much today.
You know, I'd like to bring our attention towards Coach Phil Pott. He just arrived right now. I just saw him walking in, fist pumping our nose guard. And I really love to see maybe he can get a little bit of kick for this defense, maybe.
Yeah, and he is, quote-unquote, the legend. He is. He drives all the way up from Madison to here every day for practice. He's here at whatever time in the afternoon. as it looks like Trumbull false starts. Number 82 did not see the count.
Yeah, he was on his jets a little early. Looked like he was a little anxious to get down the field, as his route did look like a deep post. And that's going to bring that Trumbull team back 5 yards, pretty much negating their gain on first down.
Yeah, as you can see, Armentano on the sideline ripped his shirt because of how mad he is at himself for making that stupid decision.
Yeah, hitting himself in the helmet after fumbling the ball, bloodying his face, which is going to hold him out of the game. And tough to be out of any game, especially in the moment, but I think it'll be a learning experience after some point for Armentano. Pass out to the flat. Good pursuit from Staples, and after one broken tackle, it's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
Yeah, and one thing that our team mostly thrives on is just flushing it, bad plays, and moving on to the next. I know against St. Joe's, we had a couple turnovers that we were able to just flush and then continue to go, but eventually we weren't able to carry it out. But there are things like that where it allows our culture to thrive.
And it allows, I think Trumbull takes a timeout here as the ref threw his arms up in a clock-stopping manner. Not exactly sure who took a timeout or what the situation is, but it's 4th and 6 is going to be our next play. Tanner, how do you think Staples has to defend against this? What do you think is most likely going to be coming from the Trumbull team?
Well, I think that Trumbull, I don't think they're going to run the ball here. Wait, I actually just saw the man swap it to a 3rd down. Maybe it is 3rd down and 6, possibly.
That is possible. Not exactly sure what to expect here. Possibly that false start throwing it off. But either way, 6 yards to gain. An interesting spot because this isn't a crazy idea to run the ball 6 yards out, but more likely to be thrown. And Staples has to be ready for both, which on 3rd down isn't always the case.
If I was Trumbull here, I would definitely run the ball and consider my options in a 4th and short, possibly.
And
something that you see with Trumbull is that number 1 is their lead back, but they right now have number 4 in, who hasn't really done much on the running game.
And in the shotgun, steps back. Caricato brings pressure. Deep to number 4 and batted down by Stoller. That's going to bring up 4th down. That pass is overthrown a little bit, and Trumbull bringing out their punting unit for the 3rd time today.
You know, I didn't like that idea of just trying to swat that ball by Stoller. Having that interception would probably lead towards better field position. And it also brings up the opportunity for Trumbull to go for it, as I would definitely try to be aggressive, especially in a JV game.
Yeah, and something that you saw there was that wheel route that we saw too much last night by number 3, Rowan Johnson, their varsity running back. He eventually had one for a touchdown last night, and they run that a lot, so that's something that could be expecting.
Yep, and they look like they're going to line up to punt. And the snap, looping, high, punt gets off. Hall is going to leave that one alone, and Trumbull lets it sit at the 25-yard line. Check that 24-yard line, and Dennett and the offense go out for another series, trying to put the hammer down before halftime.
Yeah, 15-6 right now with 6 minutes left. Aiden, what do you think Dennett's going to do here?
I think that it might be time to let him loose again. They've been throwing a lot of the short stuff, running the ball, and Trumbull creeping closer and closer every play. And Dennett has been overthrowing some balls. I think it would be a good chance to let him try and overcome those earlier struggles as he gets lined up the shotgun next to DeLuca.
And something you see here, Borowski got the wide side of the field as a single receiver.
Motions over Iannone. Dennett steps back, passes to the motion man Iannone, who gets rocked going up to catch that pass. He gets up, but that ball does not, and it's 2nd and 10.
That's something as a quarterback you got to be careful of, throwing your receivers into big hits like that. If Dennett, being that was a design play for Iannone, could have seen Borowski wide open downfield, their corner jumped that.
You know, I've mostly seen Dennett go against the ones, our best defense, and I want to see him kind of throw the ball a little more. See how he does against the JV defensive players. See how he'll do in the future when Caleb's gone.
And Dennett, quick pass over to Murillo. Murillo gets space. He cuts back to the middle and grabbed by number 11, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 11 with just under 6 minutes to play. Staples going to have to uncork one here.
Yeah.
This is the same scenario. I just wanted to I wanted to see Dennett let the ball loose, maybe get a really big splash play.
As he does, hand it off to DeLuca. Trumbull not expecting it, and DeLuca is going to get 7 yards on the play. We'll see if Staples goes for it on 4th and 4.
And it looks like Coach Matty is going for it, calling another play as the offense stays out on the field. This is not uncharacteristic of Coach Matty, who loved going for it on 4th down last year, has real trust in our offense.
And Caleb, I noticed this is more of a JV kind of decision, not something you'd really do in a varsity game, right?
Yeah, definitely on our own 30-yard line.
And they do hand it off. DeLuca strings out into space and looks like a flag is going to go down. DeLuca did get there, but that one's going to be coming back for holding against James Horton, the left tackle. And now Staples is going to have to punt.
I mean, when you think about this JV offensive line, we've had so many varsity injuries. Thinking of Zachary Zhang, Grant Ziegler, Jackson Oliver, others that are out for the year, Eddie,
Liam,
Ari. It's just really upsetting seeing them being out, but the younger guys on JV have been stepping up so far, and we got to see how the backups on JV are going to do.
And Marcus lines up at 15 yards. So the nice thing about the special teams today is Staples has their actual varsity unit for all special teams pretty much, which is very cool. As Marcus sends that one deep, going to bounce right in front of him, short punt, gets a little bit of a roll, and that one's going to go to the Trumbull 43-yard line. And with about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, Trumbull's going to have to be a little bit quick here to try and go down the field and put this one out here.
Yeah, something to think about is that last year we punted the ball a total of twice.
Yeah.
All year in 8 games. And so far today, they've already punted twice. So this is something that can really just show the difference between last year and this year. I know last year we had a much better O-line than we did this year, having Jackson Oliver, the starting center now, Grant Ziegler, who would be starting if he didn't have his back, Aiden at left tackle, Jared Gollins at right tackle, who's really stepped up last night. It was really a great offensive line group.
You're talking about an offensive line last year in the JV team that now has over 50% of them starting on varsity. Pretty much, Tanner, you were the only player on the field that – or on the O-line now that wasn't playing JV last year. So just an interesting thing to think about. I guess Dom kind of doesn't count. Didn't really play O-line last year, but we'll give it to him as well. Yeah. Still a lot of people.
Yes, Dom and I are just too good.
Yeah, as it looks like Trumbull or Staples calls a timeout. I'm assuming Trumbull.
It looked to be the ref pointing towards the Trumbull sideline. That'll be their second timeout taken in the half. They've got one left to use.
With 4:16 left remaining in the second quarter.
4:16, Caleb. I don't see the 6 there.
4:11, sorry.
Nice job reading. Caleb having a little bit of brain damage. Did you take a couple hits in the head too many last night?
I think I definitely got hit in the head multiple times last night by their middle linebacker, Jordan Black, number 9, who's an extraordinary football player.
You do understand every time you get hit, everyone, holds their breath. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You get everyone scared.
I don't get scared. I know that Caleb's terrible. I saw it last year.
As feeling some pressure, Trumbull rolls out left. He's going to run it, and he's going to step out of bounds after getting the first down into Staples territory.
Yeah, and I really think the refs missed a call there. KJ, our right defensive end, got held brutally by their left tackle as the quarterback rolled out left. That's something that they really missed there.
You know, there's kind of a correlation. When you look at yesterday's game, there was a lot of personal fouls that didn't get called. Roseme was pushed, and they didn't call personal foul, but they gave one against us. It should have been negated.
And Trumbull rolls out right, designed rollout, pass to the flat 46, and he's pushed out of bounds after about 8 yards. Good play there from Trumbull. And something I've noticed with FCAC refs in general is that most of them like to let kids play. Haven't seen a ton of those personal fouls this season, but refs letting things go. And you don't want to see the refs controlling it. Personally, I like it better that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Having that aspect to it allows to where less flags are thrown in the game, and that just lets really the players play.
Yeah. As second and short for Trumbull with 3 minutes left, just under 4 minutes left to go in this first half. Going for that wheel route again, throws it deep, and that ball should have been caught by Hall. A loopy pass, not very well thrown, and Trumbull gets away with them there.
Yeah.
When I think about JV, I was watching you guys all last year. I think of all the great moments. Personally, my favorite moment was when Norwalk, after we completely obliterated them and kept running hurry up there, see you guys on Friday, and we proceed to win against possibly the best player in the state. What are you guys' favorite moments about JV?
I think our favorite moment for all of us had to be our game versus St. Joe's when they still had a JV team last year, where, I hate to say this, Caleb did throw and run for a combined 8 touchdowns. As the ball goes down, Trumbull's going to have to fall on it, and that's going to bring up 4th and long. Bad snap there.
Caleb, the age-old question.
And they're going to call their final timeout as a half as well.
Caleb, the age-old question. Is 8 touchdowns good enough?
I'd have to say that 8 touchdowns is pretty good, but something that it's really cool that we put up 67 points on St. Joe's JV team last year. That had to be one of my favorite moments. Another one of my favorite moments was putting up 50 in the first half against Norwalk. Still running hurry up when we were up 43-6 in the first half, as we wanted to score again in the first half.
And we did not actually score again in the second half of that game. That was possibly the most boring football game in that second half of the Norwalk game. If you do remember, quite literally nothing happened for a full second half of the game, and that's what happens when you're up 50-6.
Yeah, and I believe that 90% of the starters were out at that point. I know I was out, Sammy was out, our top receiver.
They didn't touch the O-line. They let us stay. No.
Well,
it's
you
the
guys
JV.
are burying them.
There's also no such thing as JV depth of the O-line.
That's
I actually
true.
don't know who the next O-lineman to go in would be for Staples right now. Looking at the sideline, I don't actually think there is.
Whoa, Teddy's lined up way offsides.
Yeah, Teddy lined up. Yeah, that was ridiculous. That's what we call a little bit of JV football there, as it wasn't even close. It wasn't even like his head was over the ball. His entire midsection, a full yard past the football. That is the amount of brain cells Andrew Rossman currently has.
Parnes, when we were talking about our favorite memories, I'm surprised you didn't bring up your touchdown.
Well, because that would have been a little boring. Yeah, I play right tackle, and I did score a touchdown, but that was the easy answer. I think St. Joe's was like just awesome in general. And on the 4th down, running for nothing, Staples is going to get that ball with 3:41 left to go in the second quarter.
And like I said before, the key of this game is Staples stopping the run.
Oh, no, there's no 3:41 left. That's actually going to be the end of the first half. Our clock operators today are doing an absolutely atrocious job keeping us in. And just before we send it off for the half, I want to get a little thoughts so far on this game from each of you guys on what Trumbull and Staples are doing right and what they're doing not so well.
I'm loving what Coach Maddie's doing so far. Amazing play calling. I love the aggressiveness. Some other people I'd like to bring up is Brady Dennett. He's playing a little better than I expected. Anthony Armentano, before he went out, had a few splash plays. The Staples defense is stepping up post first drive, and I'm really happy seeing the Staples Wreckers persevere after a struggling first couple drives.
Yeah, and Caleb, how about you on a more technical angle? What do you think Staples is doing well and not so well?
Well, I think that their defense is playing pretty well after that. Trumbull really only had 2 big plays where they've gotten real first downs. They had that long play in the first drive, but Trumbull's quarterback is really struggling right now, missing on that wheel route, on both wheel routes that they had. So that's something that they need taking into account.
And Staples D-line a little bit like not having the guys they're used to having, but still being able to make it work and getting some pressure, forcing that quarterback to make some of those ill-advised throws. And that'll do it for our half right now. We'll be back in just about 5 to 10 minutes. Staples leads 15-6 at the half. We'll see you back on WPT 90.3 FM. Tanner Klipsa and Caleb Smith for the second half of this JV football action between Staples and Trumbull. Staples currently leads 15-6. Caleb, what have you seen so far?
I think that the Staples offense has been as much as mediocre as you can say. They've been running the ball almost every play here in this wet conditions, but I think this second half can really make or break their not only game but their season and set the tempo for them, as they've only played one game prior to this.
Yeah, and from the Staples defense, Tanner, what are your thoughts?
Besides a couple of really big splash plays, I haven't really seen that many problems with the defense. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
As the kickoff comes in, and that's going to be a deep boot fielded by Nathan Smith as he heads up the middle. Breaks to the left sideline. Gets some blocks, and he's going to be shoved out of bounds around the 36-yard line. Staples offense gets to start out this half.
I'm kind of seeing Nathan Smith do quite a bit in this game. I have seen him do a lot. I'm just waiting for him to get that one big play.
As heading out to the field, the same O-line as we saw before, and DeLuca, who's now been thrust into the starting running back role after Armentano, hit himself in the head with his own helmet to take himself out of the game. One of the stupidest injuries I've ever seen, and I've been calling a lot of sports for a couple years now. And as Marcus gets the play, Dennett lines up in the shotgun. And the snap. Quick throw to Sandra on the sideline. He makes some defenders miss before getting dragged down after a gain of 2 yards.
The Staples offense, it has to be a little more methodical here. Get some time off the clock and bring it into a three-score game to really break away from this Trumbull team.
Yep, and Caleb, as we were talking about earlier with Staples in reference to maybe taking some of those deep shots versus not taking the deep shots, would you like to see that out of Dennett this half, or do you think that sticking with that same slower ground game, quick pass offense has been working.
Well, I think seeing that number 84, Michael Loya, out on the right side, one of the fastest kids I know. I know him pretty well as he lives with us on the weekends, but he's really fast, so as Borowski as well.
Dennett throws one deep, and it goes through Borowski's hands, one that he should have grabbed as we look over to his dad, who's sitting right in front of us, throwing his head into his palms. Tough one there for Borowski. Tough catch to make, but one that he definitely could have made, as that'll bring up 3rd and 8 for the Staples offense.
You know, I can already tell that Borowski really wants that one back. He's getting it from Coach Matty right here. And I think that he's going to have another opportunity to get another big play like he just had an opportunity to last time.
Yeah, Borowski, one of the fastest players on the team, doesn't get a ton of varsity opportunity as there are so many receivers that are really good, like Tyler Clark sitting right next to me. As DeLuca takes one up the middle on 3rd and 7, and he's going to get 15 yards, giving Staples the first down, getting to the Trumbull half of the field.
Yeah, and that was just great blocking by the O-line there, creating that hole for DeLuca to pierce through. That was a great play by the Staples offense.
Yeah, and I've been noticing throughout this game for sure this very inexperienced and all over the place O-line has been getting a little better and better each play with how well they're blocking and the holes they're creating as they go right back to DeLuca. And just as I say that, a couple missed blocks and DeLuca gets nothing.
I'm sorry, but did I just see James Horton pancake at defensive end?
Probably not. Definitely just tripped.
But something that you see here is that Shane Sandrew, who dropped a couple passes in the first half, has taken off his gloves due to the wet conditions. See if that'll help him in the second half.
Yeah, in my receiving career, I really choose not to wear gloves. I don't think it helped me catch all the balls that I've had to catch, including that one touchdown that I caught that one time. I was not wearing gloves, so, that game was also had a little bit of rain at the beginning, so, in my heavy experience, I would say that the gloves in the rain are more hurtful than helpful.
Yeah, there was no rain in sight that game. I don't know what you're talking about. That might have been the clearest day I've ever played football up in Ridgefield. But that touchdown was an experience.
Parnes, did you have an ulterior motive talking about that touchdown pass?
No, not at all. I had no reason to bring it up as Dennett drops back. 3rd and 13. Ooh. Makes one defender miss. Rolls out right, and he's going to start running for it. Gets a couple yards, and he's going to bring it as the pile gets pushed. Just going to be about a yard short of the line to gain. 4th and 1 from the Trumbull 38, and Staples is most likely going to go for it.
Wow, I'm loving what I see from Jared DeLuca so far. Reminds me of Tristan Keith last year, weighing down a big hit on a rushing defensive end. Really doing a great job at running back since Armentano has been out. I could definitely see him just run inside, get a pick up a quick yard. I think it's going to be a really easy job for him as he's shown so much progress.
And the snap. Ball goes to DeLuca, and he is going to push forward to get that yard. And just bringing back to what Tanner said a second ago, when Tanner said rushing D-end, did you also hear him say Russian D-end?
I did not, actually. I heard Tanner say rushing pretty clearly.
I did not. Anyways, back to football, Caleb. What did you see there on that play? What did you like there?
I like the handoff there and the O-line cleared up a hole enough for DeLuca to really – he got hit before the line and really pushed through using his big legs as he pushed through that defensive line.
Yeah, Dennett has been dropping those legs all game as Shandrew gets the ball in the flat and he puts his knee down as he catches it. Going to pick up about 3 yards in the play, bring up 2nd and 7.
And going back to that hitch route that we've seen so much of today throughout this game to Shandrew.
Yeah, seen that play almost half a dozen times today. Sandrew looks a little weird with the gloves off, not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm expecting something to go quick to Sandrew here.
Yep, at 2nd and 7, Staples lines up close to the left hash. Quick to Sandrew, just like you said, and he makes one defender miss before getting just a couple yards and being knocked down. And that'll bring up 3rd and 5 for Staples. See Clark right in front of me motioning that Sandrew got hit in the head, but no call there from the refs. 3rd and 5 for Staples.
I've seen a lot from Trumbull's defense so far, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing from them play call-wise. I think it's truly bad coaching. You can't leave Shane with a free release about a dozen times and give up a free hitch every time.
And Staples runs it up the middle, close to the line to gain. He's going to get it. That'll be a first down for Staples. And all day, since Armin Taylor been out, we've been seeing these great rushes coming in.
Yeah, and the main thing that people are going to take away from this game is Jared DeLuca is a dog. He is a workhorse back that is going to be able to be a key asset for this Wreckers for future as the years to come.
You know, that's what I was saying in the beginning of the game. I wanted to see who would step up on this JV game, possibly be a better part of the varsity roster.
Yep. And Dennett, for the third time today, loses the football and hops right back on it. And now that'll bring up a second and long.
Looks like a little miscommunication between DeLuca and Dennett as DeLuca hit him, which caused the ball to come out there. But something that you can see is Trumbull has gone back to their 4-2 box instead of that 4-1 box to prevent the run, as that has been killing them all game.
Yep. And Dennett takes a snap, passes quick. Sandra, the sideline, makes one miss. Heads out to the sideline, and a flag comes in late as Sandra gets close to the line of scrimmage.
Looks like it's going to be a block in the back. I'm assuming on number 44, Josh Marcus, as he hit a defender right in the back. Very blatant play.
And that's going to create an extremely long second. And looks like it's going to be like 22 yards here. So Staples is going to have to make something big happen.
Yeah, and something that I'm not really understanding here by the play calling is getting Borowski more involved. He's has so much open field to him, running him a little slant, let him loose. That's something that could be a big play for Staples.
Yeah, and Borowski, there is safety help over that top, so Borowski is not getting clean one-on-ones, but there's a lot of space towards the middle for Borowski here as Dennett lines up in the shotgun again. And as that slant, he looks to find Borowski, and that ball's batted down at the line before it can reach him. Going to bring up third, and looks about 20 yards, 25 yards. Staples is going to have to do something big here.
And just as I called it, they're trying to get Borowski in space, but number 13, their linebacker, got his hand in there. Really sucks because that play could have been a really big play for the Staples.
Caleb, I know you've dealt with that a lot. 3 interceptions off tip passes must suck.
Yeah, it really was. I just saw the play call by Coach Matty. Looks like Borowski's going to be running a hitch and go. Let's see if this can connect.
So Borowski going to get a chance here. And Dennett steps back. Hitch. And he gets pressure before he can throw that off. DeLoya wide open, drops the ball with no one near him. He looked to run before he fully caught that one, and with about 3 minutes left in this third quarter, Staples is going to have to do something here on fourth and extremely long.
And I've got to say, those gloves must have killed him as he's ripping them off right now. Very frustrated that he dropped an easy touchdown.
Yeah, and something else that I've noticed, I've seen on the O-line is a quick change coming in. Jorge and De La Russo were starting at right guard together. They were going to continue to rotate, but as Dennett drops back, and he's going to throw one deep to no one, and that's going to give Trumbull the ball on their own 37 to work with just about 3 minutes left in the third. But something that I noticed is Jorge and De La Russo originally rotating at right guard, and then after Justin Johnny having a tough time at the beginning of the game, De La Russo is now playing right tackle exclusively. So just a quick change by Coach Connors that has given Dennett just a little bit more time to throw the ball.
You know, as a football player, I love Del Russo. I think that he's going to be a very good player next year for the varsity team.
I agree with that. As something interesting, that snap came in a little late. Looked like a false start as the quarterback backs up and heaves that one away. And not much going on there. Lucky to get that ball off.
You could see number 37, James Pretty, getting really frustrated there as he was very close to getting a sack, which would have been a huge motivator as he is one of the most liked players on this team.
Yep, and that play is not intentional grounding actually because there was a receiver quite literally within a yard of the ball, Troy. And that'll bring up second down and 10. Troy Toglia, now varsity player, sitting right next to me in the booth, who, along with myself, started off playing for this JV team and has now come into a varsity O-line role as a run off tackle to the left is going to pick up 3 yards.
You know, when you're looking at last year's JV team, it's practically the varsity team. You have Caleb, you have Parnes, you have Troy, Rossman, Prison. You have so many. You have Goldman. You have so many amazing players here that are really stepping up, and you can really see how the depth of the Staples Records is going to keep them as a above-average football franchise for quite a while.
Yes, the franchise. As rolling out right, Trumbull, pass, picked off by Murillo. As he runs right, the play continues, and he's going to get stopped at the Trumbull 48-yard line. Don't exactly know what the Trumbull's quarterback was doing there. That ball could not have been more perfect for Murillo. Might have forgotten which team he's playing for, and that'll bring up first down for Staples.
Yeah, and before the play, I was going to mention that rain is starting to come down a little heavier than it was before, and that might have influenced that throw that happened there, where he threw it nowhere near his receiver.
And Dennett and the offense are going to get another opportunity here, lining up DeLuca again, who has, as we've previously mentioned, been playing strong. And Justin Johnny goes back in at right tackle. And DeLuca fights through what looked to be a sure tackle before getting stopped at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, this O-line just really isn't as strong as they had hoped for. They've had limited opportunities where DeLuca has really shown his skills, where he has found the holes rather than them making the holes for him.
I would definitely agree with that, as Dennett, once again in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, throws it deep for Borowski. And he's not going to be able to get that one again. Not totally on Borowski there. A good defensive play. And that'll bring up third down and 10.
You know, if I'm Borowski, I'm taking off the gloves. It's not a great idea for having him on. He's dropped two really big plays so far. He probably should have caught that one, but he should definitely be going 1 for 2 with those.
Yeah, and as I was talking about with my struggle with my receiving career with the gloves, I think that in the rain games, the gloves are definitely not the most helpful. I actually think they hurt you more, as well as something like a visor on a helmet. Rain can change equipment a lot on football. And DeLuca off tackle is going to get 7 yards in the play, bringing up 4th and medium. And Staples is, knowing Coach Maddie, Staples is going to go for this.
If I'm Staples right here, I wouldn't be opposed to running it with DeLuca. He's been shown to get 5 yards of carry every time.
And as Staples gets to the line really fast, Trumbull's going to call timeout right before the snap. And when the snap did come in, that thing rolled on the ground. As we look to the score, just heading towards the end of the third quarter, Staples leads 15-6 with just under 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
Tell Nathan and Borowski to take off their gloves.
And now, on 4th down, Caleb, being the quarterback for the Staples team, knowing your coaches, what do you think the choice here is for Coach Maddie?
I think he's going to try to get something quick to Sandrew, get him that easy 5-yard hitch, get him in space, and that really could be the banger that gets them the first down. That could really seal this game if they go down and score this touchdown.
Yeah. As for that play call, I mean, Caleb, what would you want if you were in this situation and you were Dennett right now?
Right now, basing off what happened last night, there were a lot of plays that had design runs for me. And I think that that's something that could work right now with a 4-2 box, having 6 guys along with DeLuca blocking. That could be something good.
And they do hand it off to DeLuca. It's going to be close, and he's going to dart up that sideline and just get the first down. Staples is going to hold on to this one.
Yeah, when they bring in those 6 guys into that box, it doesn't look like Trumbull makes an adjustment. That's something they could be utilizing for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and Tanner, what did you see there from the offense, especially being a left tackle? What did you see there from the offensive line to allow DeLuca to get those yards?
The offensive line, they were doing okay. Nothing really that special. It's just Trumbull's defensive line not being able to seal the edge. Poor coaching on Trumbull's end.
And with a fresh set of downs, Dennett takes a snap, hands it right back to DeLuca. And he gets wrapped up and rolled around, but never actually hits the ground. And what looked like to be a tackle for a loss is going to actually end up in a 4-yard gain for Staples.
Inside the press box, Caleb was calling Rosemead to tell Borowski and Nathan Smith to take off their gloves, and there was quite a bit of commotion. Are you mad that they still have their gloves on?
Well, as you can see, Borowski does have his gloves off now. I don't know what Nathan has, as he's not on the field. It looks like he still has his gloves on, but I think that it just really helps without
And
the gloves.
deep to Borowski, he turns around. He should not have turned around, and that forced him to slow down as he turned his back to the ball. One of the cardinal sins of playing receiver.
Yeah, and one thing that Borowski, being on the cusp of like that varsity guy and starting on JV, is he doesn't get as many reps with Coach Maddie, the receivers coach for varsity, working on his technique, and that's something that's pure technique there.
Yeah. Then a little bit overthrown, but with Borowski's speed, it could have been done. But go backpedaling, most certainly not, as DeLuca's going to get the ball again. And Horton misses a block as that ball is going to go to the ground, and Trumbull's going to get on that one. And Trumbull picks up the fumble, one of the many fumbles today, with 1:13 left to play in the third quarter. Something that's been plaguing the Staples team and holding them to only 15 points. Horton completely whiffed on his block there, and DeLuca got hit when he wasn't expecting it.
I think that was a good
Lost the
play.
ball.
I think that was a good play by the Trumbull defense. Something I wouldn't say very often, but I would have to say that whoever made that strip, it was a solid play. You should have kept wrapping up, but that's a good play for a JV guy.
And the snap,
Whoa.
the pass, and it's not going to go very far. Out to the flat for 5 yards for Trumbull.
Something you see there is that was what you call a duck by the quarterback.
Wow.
He threw it almost sideways
That was
to the receiver.
that was awful. Barnes could have thrown that better than him.
I would throw. You could have thrown that better than him, which is crazy to say. I actually don't know, but that thing was a quacker.
Yeah.
That thing was a helicopter. Don't know how he caught
I
that
s-
one, but
I saw the release, and I was like, what the hell is this guy getting coached?
And if you guys have noticed today, this snap is coming in late. The whole team moving way before the snap all game, and Pretty almost gets to the quarterback, but doesn't get all the way there. And
believe
they're going to
that
say that ball's caught,
I
even though
believe
it
I
looked
saw
like it.
that as a drop.
Yeah, a pass over the middle for 5 yards. Looked like it might have hit the ground, but the refs are going to give it to him.
You know, that's what you see in JV games. The refereeing is not always at point.
Yeah, and because this is JV football, and in any high school football, there's no challenge flag. There's no ability to catch the refs on their mistakes, so it puts more pressure on the refs to make the right call every time, which they seemingly did not do there, as run up the middle is going to give 8 yards to this Trumbull offense as Caleb leaves.
This is rather unexpected. I don't know what's going on. But looking at the Staples defense, second and short, you really have to get a stop here to make it more of your game if you're a Staples player.
Yep, and that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. Staples leads 15-6 as we have the final stretch of the game incoming.
You know,
and
Parnes,
that ball's going to be just placed the other side of the field, and Staples continues to play defense.
You know, Parnes, if you're a Staples coach right here, are you gonna try to lean towards more of the run, or are you gonna try to air it out, be more aggressive as Coach Matty is being?
I would actually probably not want to air it out and be aggressive right now. And I know you want to stay aggressive even when you're winning, but going extremely like that and throwing it deep is probably not the way to go when you're winning and it's raining. Try and bleed that clock would make the most sense here. Caleb, do you care to share why you exited the booth a couple seconds ago?
So, one of my teammate Sam Petrosino, who was on the field along with a bunch of other varsity guys, just came up and told me that things are about to go down. There are a lot of Trumbull parents chirping. The whole Trumbull team is chirping. They are all mad about last night, and they want to take it out on our JV players.
Yep.
As we are leading the game, they want to find any way to try and start some sort of commotion.
Yeah, Trumbull's very unhappy with the way that their season has gone in reference to their series against Staples, losing first the freshman game and then that intense varsity game that the three of us played in last night. I know I like to say the three of us. I enjoyed saying that a lot.
I really want to see how this is going to end with all the chirping, especially from the parents. Like, that's crazy. You're a goddamn parent chirping a JV game. But sadly, I have to go. I have to go to ACT prep. But you're in good hands as Parnes and Caleb Smith are amazing. callers, as Parnes has a lot of experience and Caleb is very good at this.
And
I am definitely not needed here. I will go.
We thank Tanner for his time in the booth today, and that'll do it for him today. And Caleb, hello. It'll be just us for the closing part of this game as Trumbull ran it off tackle there to pick up a short first down, bring up 1st and 10 just inside of the 50-yard line. Dropping back, Trumbull gets some pressure, throws a duck, picked off, going the other way. Staples getting a block, heading down the sideline towards the end zone. 10-5, touchdown Staples. Stoller caught a quacker for the end zone.
Something that I can see is that reminds me a lot of what happened last year on this field. Trumbull quarterback throws a bad ball, and we return it for 6 with great blocks downfield. This game is almost wrapped up because of that touchdown. What a play by number 28, Jack Stoller.
And as we were just talking about the chippiness of this game and all the parents being upset losing the varsity game last night, the players being upset being a part of that varsity team, I'd like to see how scoring that touchdown, whether it slows down that Trumbull chippiness or it actually accelerates it. But either way, a very interesting situation here as Staples leads 21-6 and are about to attempt an extra point.
Yeah, and something that you can see on the sideline is so many varsity guys getting super excited over that play, just like we were. I saw Jared Golins, Cam Lyons running down the field with Jack Stoller, who's on the opposite sideline, as he ran for that touchdown.
Yeah, and as we could faintly hear from Coach Matty all the way up here in the booth, screaming for offense, doing the math here, if Staples does get this 2-point conversion, as they had lined up to take a field goal, calls a timeout. If they can get a 2-point conversion here, it'll guarantee a 3-possession game and would almost certainly put the nail in the coffin for this one.
Yeah, definitely. As Coach Behrens walks out, the head football coach being a servant leader, as something preached in our culture, is being servant leaders, especially with the seniors.
Yep, as you can actually see many of the seniors are bunched up on the sideline supporting their team. And Staples will go for 2 here. What do you expect to see here going for 2?
I don't see a reason why they would not just give it to DeLuca here, as Brady Dennett didn't even realize the offense was going on the field as he runs out onto the field.
That is impressive.
And embarrassing.
The quarterback. Would you ever make that mistake, Caleb, with the varsity team?
I hope not. I really hope not. That wouldn't happen to me.
And Dennett takes the snap, hands it off to DeLuca. DeLuca fights for yards up the middle, and he's going to get into the end zone, giving Staples that 2-point conversion, and they lead 23-6. That 17-point being so crucial, as Trumbull will now have to score 3 times to win this one, something very unlikely.
Yeah, well, something that you saw earlier was they attempted that field goal. So if they do manage to score 2 touchdowns, they have that in the back of their pocket if they want to try that again.
Yeah, they're going to need to have some extreme defensive stops. And something interesting that I thought about is how Staples actually started this game down 6-0, and now they lead 23-6. The second time this season in 2 games that the JV team has started losing the game and ended up winning.
Yeah, well, I think that first touchdown that Trumbull got was really unfortunate turn of events. Brady Dennett not throwing the best ball, but going right through Shane's hands, and number 21, who picked it off and eventually led to the score, was right there. It really didn't make any sort of play. He was just right in the right spot at the right time.
Yep, and Aiden Stubbs heads out, another kicker. Staples has many options at kicker to boot this one off and get this Trumbull attempt at somehow making this game going. Stubbs kick. Caught at the 10. And good pursuit. Actually going to bounce outside, but there's going to be a flag down on the play for a bad block. Looks like it's going to be a holding call on Trumbull.
Looks like number 13, one of Trumbull's key players, is hurt, hobbling off the field as he just got up, shaken up.
He looks like he's going to be all right, but that holding call is going to be very detrimental to Trumbull after getting what was a pretty nice return, bringing them all the way back to around their own 20-yard line. So we have 8:56 left to go in this fourth quarter. Staples leads 23-6. What would Trumbull have to do to make this happen here, Caleb?
I think they really just got to bang on their splash plays that they had before. I would go back to that first play that they had where they completed the pass over the middle and just turned it into almost a 60-yard play as Staples players running on and off the field in confusion.
and that's James Pretty, one of the fan favorites for this game. A player that somehow manages to be loved and hated by everyone on the football team so much. Runs out in the field. He's going to be playing outside linebacker. And he gets in to make the tackle along with Marcus, stonewalling the Trumbull attempt at a run in the backfield, and that'll go for a loss of 1.
That was a great play by both Pretty and Marcus. And something I want to add is that the umbrellas have come out. The rain is coming down harder than it was before, and that's continuing to create an effect on the game. Especially when Trumbull has to pass the ball with only 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, down 3 scores.
Trumbull's not going to be able to run the ball like they just did much more if they want to have a chance to win this one. As they drop back, no. And we're going to get a false start on the play.
Oh.
No. Pointing towards the defensive sideline. Trying to see what happened there. Nope, we're going to get a false start on the play. And that's actually something I was talking about earlier with the snaps coming in late. Everyone's moving way before. Finally, the refs notice it.
I was just about to say that finally the refs made that adjustment. That Trumbull was actually doing that last night as well in the varsity game, and they didn't seem to catch it. But thankfully, they just saw it for the first time there.
Yeah, pretty hard thing to miss, but, refs and stuff.
Yeah. It's got to be a really hard job to be a ref, especially in high school.
Oh, yeah. Nothing good about that. As run up the middle, it's making no sense right now as bleeding precious time and not doing much. Trumbull looking like they might be waving the white flag on this one.
Yeah, I was just about to say that after that loss, the first by the freshman, then that detrimental loss last night.
Yo, you
really
love that.
Crazy game. But just down 23-6 with only like a little under 8 minutes left to go. They really are just waving the white flag here.
And they're going to hand it off once more. Marcus dives over to make the tackle after a gain of about 7, bringing up 4th and 4. Staples making the stop here would almost certainly put wraps on this one, if it's not already. And Staples most likely gearing up for this run that we expect to see here.
Yeah, and something that you can see on the sideline is that there are 6 or 7 Trumbull players just sitting on the bench, accepted defeat already.
Yeah, not much enthusiasm from the side, and a lot of angry parents who made the drive here in the rain to watch their team do this. Not very fun. But they will run it up the middle, stopped by the free safety Nathan Smith after the first down is picked up. Trumbull will hold on to the ball, holding on to just a glimmer of hope for the rest of this one.
Yeah, and you can see, just like I said earlier, the Staples sideline, very engaging. They have all their guys right around where the ball is compared to Trumbull, have multiple guys sitting on the bench, really not even paying attention to the game anymore.
Yep, and even the Staples varsity players who are not a part of this game, very interested in the outcome. And run to the right, going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1. It brings up 2nd down.
And that was number 67, Daniel Hamilton, who's been he's really just got into this game as he's not really the greatest at football, but he's a nice guy to have around with the team, and him making that tackle is pretty special for him.
Yeah, known to be one of the funnier guys on the team, a little bit of a goofball, but nice tackle from him there as Staples looking to stop the deep play as Trumbull lines up. Ball hits the ground, and the Trumbull quarterback is going to fall on it, and he's going to pay the price for falling on that one, getting landed on by some big boss.
Yeah, and something I just realized is they put a new quarterback in. They really want this game to end. They don't really care. As I saw from the Staples sidelines, they put in number 60, Alex Esser, one of my favorite sophomores on this team. He really is a great guy, really smart too. I think that, and he's been playing football for so long. He's one of my family friends, actually. I can't wait to see what he can do.
Yeah, happy to see Esser lined up right now at left end. And the snap coming in, it's going to be another run up the middle. And Pretty is going to get in for the tackle. Going to bring up about a 4th and 12 here. See if Trumbull would they're going to punt. Oh,
yeah, they
not
really
even going to
just
pass.
want
They're going to
this
bring
game
their punt team in with 5 minutes left, down 17. That's embarrassing.
It really is. Seeing that, they just don't really care anymore.
No, they really couldn't care less, and it kind of feels like that's a culture thing. You know, and we keep talking about referencing our Staples culture, but, you know, last night after a big win like that, it looked like all day Trumbull hasn't really cared much about this game, and it's sad to see that culture like that, but I think it was the difference last night in a much more meaningful game, and it seems to be like that right now.
Yeah, and that's why I want to say that our success of the JV level contributes to our success at the varsity level. Last year, our JV team, which Tanner mentioned earlier, is almost our entire varsity team this year, with a couple of exceptions. Seeing that really is just a culture thing. And seeing that we want to develop these guys so they can be successful at the varsity level.
A good 85% of our varsity studs this year played JV in some form last year. So not something you see often. Most of the time, teams don't have that kind of depth, and most of their juniors play varsity. But after calling a timeout, Trumbull will once again line up to punt on 4th and 12 with 4:46 left to play, down 17 points. And the punt bounces, not able to get into the Staples rush, and not going to pick up that punt either. That one's going to go down to the 20-yard line. Staples will get the ball back with 4:30 left to play in a game that's already over.
Yeah, something about today is it's a little brisk out, but you see Captain Zach Roseme in a short sleeve shirt and his cowboy hat on as he celebrates his win from last night and as well as the JV win from today.
Yep, and what do you think Staples does here? You know, this game's already over. Ollie Howard looks like he's going to be getting in. Caleb, one of your close friends you're always throwing the ball with, is going to get in for the final drive at quarterback right now.
I am so excited to see what Ollie can do. Ollie, as Aiden mentioned, one of my best friends, he is just so exciting to be around with, and he's just a great guy.
And he's going to be joined by Caden Wilson, a guy who takes a lot of heat on the team, but he's going to get a chance here with 4:30 left to play in the fourth quarter. Ollie takes the snap, and he's going to hand that one off to Finn Sequenzia, the new running back. And Sequenzia is going to be down at the 25-yard line after picking up 3 yards.
Yeah, and you see a lot of new faces as the Wreckers are just letting guys get in and get their experience. Number 17, Grant Harriet. Number 86, Eli Shostak. Like Aiden mentioned, number 92, Caden Wilson. Number 19, Owen Kutris. And Ollie and Finn, number 20 and 27.
And Finn off tackle to the left, not going to get much. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 with 4 minutes left to play in this game.
And keep in mind the clock is running, so this game is wrapping up to a close as Wreckers are up 23-6.
Do you think Staples would consider putting this one in the air here? Just for Ollie's sake?
I think Ollie throws a good ball. I think he just doesn't really know his plays, but I love Ollie. Let's see what he can do.
And no, he's going to hand it off again to Sequenzia, who gets nothing, and Staples is going to punt again, which will be their final offensive play of this football game.
Something that Ollie did last year is he played a little bit of running back on JV. I know last year in the Trumbull game, he went in at both running back and quarterback. When he went in at quarterback, they called design quarterback runs. So just let him run. I think they could have used that to their advantage there, as he is a great runner.
Yep. Very upsetting to see Ollie not really get a chance there, but Marcus is going to punt this one away with the clock running down from 3:07 left to play in this game. That snap bounces, but Marcus gets the punt off anyways. That one takes a good Wreckers hop and is going to land down at the 25-yard line.
That was a great punt right there. Almost 60 yards. Punting it from almost the 15-yard line, getting it down to almost the 25.
Well, that was the bounce. You didn't actually kick it 60 yards. You know what I mean?
The ball went 60 yards.
Yeah, but that's net yardage. That's very different from punt yardage. You know what I mean?
In the stat sheet, what does it say? 60-yard punt.
Well, actually, there's net and punt yards. But for this case, since the ball wasn't returned, it'd actually be the same thing.
Which would be 60
Putting
yards.
it out there. Something like that. You know, I don't know if I give Marcus credit for 60 yards. And I love to give Marcus a little bit of crap because he's one of my good friends, someone I spent a lot of time during lacrosse season playing with, as we both played goalie on the lacrosse team. Called a bunch of his games before from the same booth. As Staples going to play defense once more.
Wow.
And slammed to the ground coming in. Is that Pretty?
Yeah, number 37.
And the sideline erupts after watching Pretty go in and make a meaningful tackle right there, slamming his guy to the ground, stopping him at the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10 with 2:30 left to play in this game. Lining up in the shotgun once more. and stonewalled to the line again. Nothing there.
Yeah, it looked like they tried a little trap play where they pulled their their right guard to kick out that end. Didn't really work. Della Russo in on the tackle.
Way too fancy for a JV football game and a team who's not very strong right now for Trumbull. But maybe they put the ball in the air here as they all look down to their wristbands. Would like to see them try something, as this is getting really boring really fast.
Yeah.
No. And the run up the middle. Going to get stopped once more. And that'll bring up 4th down. And if they punt it again, oh my God, this is terrible. You know what, Caleb, do you want to do play-by-play for the last minute of the game?
I would love to, Aiden. I'm very excited for this, actually. Aiden did not give me the opportunity to do any play-by-play.
No, because he's bad at broadcasting.
This is my first time broadcasting. Troy, you cannot do play-by-play.
No, you cannot.
But this has really been a fun experience for me. I hope we can do this later in the season as well.
With more JV games, why not?
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. It's really hard for me as I don't really have the open time to broadcast any varsity games.
Considering you play for the varsity team as the quarterback.
Yeah, but also throughout the year, varsity basketball and varsity lacrosse I'm not able to call, which would be
There's
a lot of
no – did you notice what just happened on that punt, which is going to land around the 40? Did you notice that punt, that the entire line of 7 players didn't move? They just stood there?
There's very low energy at this point. There's 46 seconds left. The clock is stopped.
And I'm going to let you do the play-by-play for this seemingly kneel down.
Yeah, I believe they're either just going to kneel it down or just have Finn run the ball up the middle and just let the clock run out.
Oh, my God. Look who got in.
Oh, they just called the game.
No,
That
Sean
waves
McGee did
his
not.
Flag.
Is Sean McGee 46?
Sean McGee is a senior. He does not play JV.
That's a good point. RJ is 46, but that's going to bring it to the end of our game today. You got to do a ton of play-by-play, and you should thank me for that after. And what was started off as a pretty intense game did not end that way. Staples ends up winning 23-6. Any final thoughts here, Caleb?
Well, I think this is a great start for the Wreckers as they go 2-0 on the year as a JV team, trying to replicate what we did last year, going 8-0.
Yep, and actually starting both games down, losing, having that willpower to come back. That'll do it for us here today. From WPT 90.3 FM, I'm Aiden Parnes, joined alongside Caleb Smith. In collaboration with O'Shea Productions, we bring you the Staples vs. Trumbull JV game. Staples winning this one. That'll do it for us today at WPT 90.3 FM. See you guys next time.